Thank you. Okay, we're going to begin with our reports of preliminary review. Agenda number 1, Investigator Fenstermaker, please.
Thank you, Chair, Commissioners. This is Casey Fenstermaker for the record. Regarding agenda item number 1, this is a preliminary review report regarding Greg Smith in his capacity as the Executive Director of the Columbia Development Authority. In this case, the complaint alleged that Greg Smith failed to adequately declare a conflict of interest during discussions about adding signatories to the CDA's Bank of Eastern Oregon bank account, and while discussing procuring credit cards from the Bank of Eastern Oregon for staff. The complaint also alleged that Greg Smith engaged in a prohibited use of office when he asked the CDA attorney for information related to obtaining information regarding conflicts of interest for himself and other board members. The preliminary review determined that the Bank of Eastern Oregon is not a business with which Greg Smith is associated as defined in ORS 244.020 sub 3, and therefore no declaration of conflict of interest was required. Further, because he was not a governing body member and he was a appointed public official as the executive director, it would have had to be in writing, so he was not required to declare it in a public meeting anyway. Finally, with respect to the allegation regarding the improper use of the CDA attorney, information reviewed indicates he was not asking for legal advice for himself or any of the board members, but rather information on how to obtain advice regarding conflicts of interest related to his and CDA board members' potential conflicts of interest. Therefore, the recommendation is to dismiss this matter.
Thank you, Investigator. Representative Smith is not appearing today, so commissioners, are there any questions for the investigator? Hearing none, are you prepared to make a motion, Vice Chair?
Thank you, Madam Chair. For executive session item number 1, I move the commission dismiss the complaint against Greg Smith.
Okay, you've heard the motion, Administrator. Commissioner Helt, are you are you raising your hand? You're lit up.
She is unmuted. She's unmuted, and we're getting feedback through her microphone. That's why it's lit up.
Okay, can you mute yourself, Commissioner Helt?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, you've heard the motion. Administrator, can you please call the roll?
Commissioner Burke.
Aye.
Commissioner McCulley.
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez.
Aye.
Commissioner Mettler.
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Commissioner Helt.
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay, we are moving on to agenda item number 2. Jeff Wenholtz, also Investigator Fenstermaker, please proceed.
Thank you, Chair, Commissioners. This is Casey Fenstermaker again. Agenda item number 2 is regarding Jeff Wenholtz in his capacity as a board member of the Columbia Development Authority. In this case, the complaint alleged that Jeff Wenholtz failed to adequately declare conflict of interest during discussions about adding signatories to the CDA's Bank of Eastern Oregon bank account, and while discussing procuring credit cards from the Bank of Eastern Oregon for staff. The complaint also alleged that through Greg Smith, he engaged in a prohibited use of office when Greg Smith asked the CDA attorney for information related to obtaining information regarding conflicts of interest that involved Jeff Wenholtz. The preliminary review determined that the Bank of Eastern Oregon is not a business with which Jeff Wenholtz is associated as defined in ORS 244.020 sub 3, and therefore no declaration of a conflict of interest was required. Further, with respect to the allegation regarding the improper use of the CDA attorney, the information reviewed indicates he was not seeking legal advice for himself. As a result, we are recommending that this matter be dismissed.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions for the investigator? Seeing and hearing none, Vice Chair, are you prepared to make a motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I move that executive session item number 2, I move the commission dismiss the complaint against Jeff Wenholtz.
Thank you. Having heard the motion, Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Mettler,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner McCully,
Aye.
Commissioner Halt,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay, moving on to agenda item 3, Joel Peterson. Again, investigator Fenstermaker, please proceed.
Thank you, Chair, Commissioners. Casey Fenstermaker for the record. Agenda item number 3 is regarding Joel Peterson and his capacity as a board member for the Columbia Development Authority. The complaint alleged that Joel Peterson failed to adequately declare a conflict of interest during discussions about adding signatories to the CDA's Bank of Eastern Oregon bank account and while discussing procuring credit cards from the Bank of Eastern Oregon for staff. The complaint also alleged a prohibited use of office when Greg Smith asked, allegedly on Joel Peterson's behalf, the CDA attorney for information related to conflicts of interest. During the preliminary review, it was determined that the Bank of Eastern Oregon is a business with which Joel Peterson is associated, but it was also determined that he was required to declare a conflict of interest, and he did so adequately. Additionally, it was determined that it does not appear he inappropriately used his position to obtain legal counsel, as he was not attempting to procure legal advice from the CDA attorney. However, in reviewing the information related to this case, it appears Joel Peterson failed to disclose the Bank of Eastern Oregon on his statement of economic interest in 2025, which he should have done because income that he receives from the Bank of Eastern Oregon constitutes more than 10% of his household income. So while we're recommending dismissal on the conflict of interest and prohibited use of office allegations, we are recommending investigation as it relates to his failure to disclose information on his statement of economic interest.
Thank you. I have a question for our legal counsel, but do any other commissioners have questions for our investigator? Sean, do we need 2 motions on this, or can we just make the motion to investigate the 1 violation?
If you could just do, if you make, I mean, you could do it all as one motion. So you could have a move to dismiss and move to investigate, all in one motion. If you choose, if you just want to do a motion to investigate the one, the other will be dismissed administratively.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just a motion to investigate the 1 violation makes sense.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Vice Chair, are you prepared to make a motion?
Yep. Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Joel Peterson may have violated ORS 244-060 sub 3, and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
Thank you, Vice Chair. You've heard the motion. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner McCully,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Mettler,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Halt,
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
Thank you. Is Humble appearing?
Yes, I'm gonna add her right now.
This is where we remind her that before she speaks, the recommendation is to dismiss. Pro tip.
Okay, she is on. I'm giving her allowances now. All right, shit's good to go.
Okay. Ms. Humble, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can. Thank
My
you.
camera is not working,
Welcome. I'm the chair of the Government Ethics Commission, and we're about to hear your case. And I'm just going to give you kind of a breakdown of how this is going to go. The investigator is going to give a report of your case, and then the commissioners will have an opportunity to ask questions of the investigator, if any. And then we will give you a very short time period to make a statement, generally limited to 3 minutes or less. Just a reminder here that the recommendation for your case is to dismiss. So keep that in mind as you're making your statement here. So generally shorter statements are better under those circumstances. We have a long agenda today, so we just appreciate keeping it short. And then the commission will, take action on your case and vote to either dismiss as recommended or move it forward to an investigation if the commission decides we need more information. There will be no vote today to decide whether there has been any violation. Okay, so I just want you to understand sort of the process that we're here to decide today. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. This is my second time.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so Investigator Pacheco, please proceed with providing the report.
Thank you, Chair Payne and Commissioners. This is Investigator Daniel Pacheco for the record. Agenda item 4 in your meeting books is a preliminary review report for Shelley Humble, Chair of the Aviation Grant Review Committee, or ARC. Based on the information gathered, the ARC is a subcommittee of the Oregon Department of Aviation, which oversees the Critical Oregon Airport Relief Program, or COAR for short. The COAR program assists airports in a variety of ways, such as with emergency preparedness and economic development. In addition to her role on the ARC, Ms. Humble is an airport manager for the city of Creswell. In this case, the Creswell Airport leases space to both businesses and individuals. One of these businesses, Viper Aviation, is owned by Ms. Humble's spouse. The complaint in this matter alleges that Ms. Humble was faced with conflicts of interest and used her official position when the ARC considered and voted to approve 4 Creswell Airport grants, which they assert could financially benefit Viper Aviation, a business with which Ms. Humble was associated. In this case, however, it appears that the grants were for the benefit of the Creswell Airport rather than for the benefit of Viper Aviation or any other airport business. Moreover, there was no information provided in the grant applications to indicate that Ms. Humble used or attempted to use her official position to provide herself, her spouse, or Viper Aviation with a financial gain or avoidance of detriment. Consequently, it does not appear that Ms. Humble violated ORS 244.040 sub 1 or ORS 244.120 sub 2, and the recommendation in your books is to dismiss. Thank you.
Thank you, Investigator Pacheco. Now is the time for commissioners to ask any questions of the investigator. So I want to open it up to commissioners if you have any questions. Okay, seeing or hearing none. Ms. Humble, now is your opportunity to make a statement, should you choose to do so.
Yes, ma'am. And I appreciate your time and effort on this. I will give you, if you can see, this is my file on the complainant. This is continued. He is a bully. This is not my first time. My first time before you cost me $11,462 because I was following the lead of our attorney. Since that time, I have taken seriously the first complaint, and I have taken ethics training, and I just re-upped my ethics training again for this year. This gentleman is agency shopping, and I am not the only one. Unfortunately, he is attacking people in the city. He is attacking our commissioners. He is using your agency as a weapon. Unfortunately, you are the last one. You are just the latest one. He has used the state fire marshal. In fact, the fire department won't even speak to him right now. He just continues. The big issue is he's got a lawsuit going with the city, and so he's trying to discredit everybody around. I do say that I am very happy that you guys took the step to confirm or deny that there was press, because I believe it was Oregon Aviation News. We believe that it is a group that he set up because he has been harassing us, wanting us to, he keeps claiming that he's doing a story and that he wants us to give comment, which we can't do. And again, It's not registered with the state, but it was another way for him to try and get inside the executive session. So I do praise you guys for doing your due diligence and getting that. I would like to say, and I spoke last time, that there needs to be some revision to how you hear cases, because a complainant does not have to put any skin in the game. He doesn't have to give you proof. All he has to do is write a letter. And unfortunately with AI right now, I mean, this guy's intelligent. He uses bigger words than I can, but he just uses AI and just pumps them out continually. So something needs to change to where the people that he continues to harass has some protection. I cannot afford another $11,000 bill. I just can't. It would break me. I would have to quit. And that is not what I think the ethics is here for. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Humble. Do any commissioners have any questions for Ms. Humble? Commissioners have any comments, discussion regarding this matter? Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez, thank you. Proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I do appreciate the individual's comment, particularly about the required proof for a complainant to bring related to these serious allegations. And I do think that that's something in terms of discussion for us as a commission to strongly consider whether there's any benefit to adding some more like good faith reporting requirements like there are in other statutes to, and bringing that over to some of our complaints, because it doesn't seem, I really appreciate the point of, if this keeps going on, I'm not going to be able to serve as a volunteer because I'm being disincentivized because of cost, but also just the stigma of this investigation. Whether I'm found, to not have violated or to have violated, I think that's a serious concern. And that I don't think that that's what folks are intending to do with these laws, is to prevent good, honest people from participating in their with government. So, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Halt.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to agree with Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez. I think I think his points are very valid, and I also am curious if there is any free legal advice for our people that are coming before us. Is there any way to access something that would not cost them to hire an attorney?
Thank you, Commissioner Halt. I mean, not that I'm aware of other, I don't think there's any sort of right to an attorney for anyone appearing before our board. And free legal services are the same as for anyone else. I think it's.
Yes. I mean, I'm not aware of any sort of free legal services that would apply in an administrative law context. I will say there's no requirement that people have attorneys. I understand wanting, especially when it's your first time before us, wanting to have an attorney's advice. And that's fine, but as the commission knows, plenty of people appear before us without attorneys. And, their cases, I haven't done a study, but they have as much chance of having the cases dismissed as those who have attorneys, especially if it's a simple case.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything in our literature that states that you do not need an attorney and sort of leads people in that direction, that they don't feel they have to hire one?
It isn't for us to provide that kind of legal advice to someone as to whether they should or shouldn't have an attorney. But certainly when people call and speak with us when they get a complaint, we do tend to say, you have this choice. It is completely up to you. It isn't a requirement.
I would add one piece. So this is the investigation, not even the investigation, preliminary review, and then the investigation phase. Once there's the investigation phase is complete and there's a determination to proceed to contest a case or negotiated settlement, there's a notice that has certain requirements. That notice advises those who are notified of the contested case option that they have a right to an attorney, and that there are certain services available, especially for service members, and there's information in that notice that provides that information. So there is a process towards the end when there's a contested case that notifies folks of that right.
And I will just say that, Ms. Humble, I hear your concerns as well. And, we're very aware that, our body can be used sometimes in inappropriate ways. However, we have to take every complaint as a valid complaint and investigate it accordingly, and not assume that any complaint is being used in some sort of inappropriate way. So we investigate every complaint accordingly and go through the process. And we understand that that isn't very reassuring to anyone who is getting a complaint that, is eventually going to be dismissed, but the process is here. And the process is that, we will investigate it, or I guess investigate is not the right term, but we do these preliminary reviews so that we can look at the facts. And if the facts don't meet the statutory requirements, then they're dismissed through this preliminary review. We have to treat every complaint that comes in the same as every other complaint. We unless it doesn't meet our jurisdiction requirements or something along those lines. And, I think that's just a backstop that this preliminary review process provides. But we are sympathetic to that, and we understand the stress and anxiety that this process causes. And, we are absolutely sympathetic to that. And we don't want our agency to be used inappropriately, or to be weaponized or used for political purposes. And so we, of course, will keep looking at how to improve our systems to prevent that from happening. Commissioner Halt.
I don't know if this is appropriate to ask because we're in executive session, but and if it isn't, just tell me. I'm wondering if we could have those notices that go out sent to the commissioners so we could review what is being asked of people and how that wording is, just so that we're aware of how people feel when they get these complaints, if they have to have a lawyer or not.
We can provide copies of the sample notices to you.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Humble, briefly, and then we need to move on to move on.
Yep, thank you. The one thing I did forget to tell you is I do agree that you guys try your best, but they need to have skin in the game. But one thing that the complainant did this time, because he knew it goes to executive session, he took the complaint that he turned into you and publicized it on the state's website at the Oregon Department of Aviation, State Aviation Board website for their meeting in December. So he had tried, he knew he couldn't do anything until after the hearing, but he did it anyway. You guys can't say anything, but he did, and he publicized it and tried to discredit my profession. And so there needs to be a way to stop what he does. And I'm sure he's not the only one, but he is a master. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Humble. Any other further discussion before we move forward with a motion from commissioners? Okay, thank you. Vice Chair, are you prepared to make a motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. For executive session item number 4, I move the commission dismiss the complaint against Michelle Humble.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, you've heard the motion. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner Mettler,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner McCauley,
Aye.
Commissioner Halt,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay, Ms. Humble, you've heard that the result was to dismiss the complaint against you. Staff will be in touch about next steps. Thank you for appearing today and for your feedback. Okay, moving on.
Swapping out people right now.
Okay.
It's before that I read about in the newspaper before I got the packet because they provide the complaint to you guys and they do a press release. Can't stop that. I understand.
It is on and ready, should be ready to go.
Good morning, Mr. Bushman. I'm the chair of the Government Ethics Commission. My name is Shanoa Payne. We are about to consider the case against you this morning. This is the process. The investigator will give the report, and commissioners will then have an opportunity to ask questions of the investigator. And then you will have a short opportunity to give a statement, provide any additional information or anything you would like to say to the commission. That will be limited to 3 minutes because we have quite a long agenda today. So I just ask that you keep that brief, and there will be a timer so you can see that 3-minute time limit. And we just ask that you do your best to stay within that 3 minutes. And then the commissioners will have an opportunity to ask you any questions if they have any. And then we will discuss your case and we will move to either move to investigate or make some other decision on your case. But I just want to clarify that the only decision that will happen today is to either move it to further investigation, or if we disagree with that, we will decide not to move it to investigation. But there will be no decision today about whether you have actually committed any violations. So the only decision is to find out whether there's whether to gather more information and investigate, or there may be some decision today to dismiss your case. Those are the two options that will be determined today. But I just want to clarify that there's no decision today as to whether any violations have occurred. Okay, so with that said, Investigator Pacheco, please provide the report.
Thank you, Chair Payne and Commissioners. This is Investigator Daniel Pacheco for the record. Agenda item 5 in your meeting books is a preliminary review report for Kyle Bushman, Airport Commissioner for the City of Cresswell. In this case, in his personal capacity, Mr. Bushman also leases space from the Cresswell Airport for several of his aircrafts. The complaint in this matter alleges that Mr. Bushman failed to declare a conflict of interest and used his official position for financial gain when discussing a Cresswell Airport policy that would charge fees for aircrafts parked overnight on airport property. Based on the information gathered, it appears that Mr. Bushman failed to declare a conflict of interest on October 16, 2024 at the Airport Commission meeting. In his response, Mr. Bushman acknowledged that he pays airport parking fees at least 10 times per year, and according to the meeting recording, it appears that Mr. Bushman recommended that the policy include language that would impact the parking fees for users. In this case, because the airport appears to be an advisory or subcommittee of the City of Cresswell, it appears that Mr. Bushman was, at most, met with a potential conflict of interest when participating in matters concerning the policy. As such actions could financially impact Mr. Bushman, he was met with a potential conflict of interest, which it appears he failed to declare at the October 16th meeting. Should this case move to investigation, Commission staff would seek to determine whether the class exception in ORS 244.020 subsection 13 sub B would apply, such that Mr. Bushman was not required to declare a conflict of interest when taking actions or making recommendations on the policy. Additionally, it is unclear whether Mr. Bushman's actions at the October 16th meeting would constitute a use of office violation, or whether he was acting within the scope of his official duties as an airport commissioner. Based on the information available in this preliminary review, there appears to be a substantial objective basis to believe that Kyle Bushman may have violated ORS 244.040 sub 1 and ORS 244.120 sub 2. The recommendation in your books is to move this case to investigation. Thank you.
Thank you, Investigator Pacheco. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Investigator Pacheco? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Mr. Bushman, now is the time for you to make a short statement, if you should choose to do so.
Perfect. So for some context, I just wanted to say how we kind of got here. So I started flying RC airplanes with my grandfather at Cresswell outside of his business. I went to the Cresswell airport at 14, learned to fly, 16 soloed an airplane by myself at 16 there. I went to a community college in Eugene, got my aircraft mechanics license, went back to Cresswell, volunteered for the Oregon Aviation Historical Society. And so I have deep ties to Cresswell. I started my first business at Cresswell. The opportunity to be on the airport commission came up, a voluntary position. And so I wanted to give back to the community. So I joined the board. There was no education or no one told me about any of the public official stuff. The city didn't. I genuinely think that they didn't know about it. It's a voluntary board where we can't vote on anything. I'm one of 5 people. I'm one of 5 people up there. My seat on the board is a airport user or business owner. And when it comes to the tie down stuff, that there's 50 open spots that aren't used. It's like a parking lot. There's not like there's a shortage of tie downs. The policy came from the city manager wrote the policy. They bring it to the board to talk about, but we don't get a vote on it or approve anything. It's just all like a volunteer board to help the airport. And what happened with the person that made the complaint, he's been making complaints against the city, state fire marshal, building inspectors, and he's made a lot of complaints directed at me. And I've had to kind of go through each one of those and figure out what it is. And it's all very scary. And I've worked through all of it and it always amounts to nothing. The fire marshal, the city of Cresswell, they've cut the person off that's making all these complaints because they don't actually substantiate anything. And I'm not saying that like if I had an obligation to report anything, I didn't do anything in bad faith. I've always operated in good faith. I didn't know anything about the Oregon Ethics Committee. The city of Cresswell never told me about it. So I'm not making excuses. I'm not a victim, but I just wanted to let you know I'm a volunteer. I'm a normal person. I don't know lobbyists. I don't know anyone. Like I'm just a person that volunteered at the airport to help. And like, I want to correct it and fix it. And I want if the Oregon Ethics Commission is part of this, I want them to help these boards at Cresswell to tell us how we're supposed to do it. This is all a scary thing for for someone like me that has to sit on something like this. And I want you guys to know that I'm not like a bad person trying to do anything. I'm just a normal guy trying to help my small town airport.
Thank you, Mr. Bushman. I appreciate those comments. Commissioner Helt.
Does this board vote?
So we
Do
have
we
no
know?
vote. The voting power, we don't get a vote on anything. That it's the city council, airport manager, city manager. We have no voting power to put anything in place.
So is there a time to declare a conflict of interest if you're not having a vote?
So up until now, I don't think the city or anyone knew that this was how it was supposed to be ran. There was no like in the agendas or meetings or anything. There's nothing that said, hey, here's a time to make a conflict of interest. And I think now they're trying to figure out how to do that at the meetings.
Can you describe to me a little bit about the tie down, like when you were having this vote conversation?
So the tie downs, imagine there's a parking lot. So like the airport is an airport and
No, I
someone comes in.
understand that. I'm just
Oh, sorry.
talking about your conversation. Like, how does that go? Is it like, because you're saying that you don't vote on that, so I'm confused by when you're talking about having the fees and what they should be, what's that procedure like?
So the five of us get in a room, and it's the airport commission, and I'm probably not the best exact person, but I'll explain my understanding. So there's five of us, we get in a room, the city manager or the airport manager's there, and we talk about different things that the city council or the city manager or the airport manager wants to put into place. And so we are just different people, airport user, citizen at large, business owner, and we all give our perspective and share that. And they're like, it is ran like a meeting. Like there is like, I don't know how to describe it, but we don't have voting power to put anything in place. Like we can't actually make policy and then they do it. The city manager, airport manager, or city council are the only ones that can do that. It's advisory board is what the word is. Sorry. Advisory board.
Thank you.
So I have a question for the investigator or maybe legal counsel. So in a situation where they're not voting, but they're making recommendations to another governing body, they still have to declare conflicts in that sort of discussion and advisory capacity. Okay.
Yes.
That's okay. And so it sounds to me like every single person on that board would have a conflict, right?
Quite possibly, given that each of them is representing a different type of airport user or business owner. And certainly things like the minimum vote exception could apply that would allow them to make their recommendations once they disclose a conflict.
Okay.
I think, as Mr. Bushman pointed out, this may be an opportunity for further education.
That's where I'm leaning.
Yeah. Okay.
The one thing that I worry about and I wanted to note was that the thing's been ran for years exactly this way. And so up until this point, any single person could go back and point every single thing out that's ever been said. And so the other thing I fear with this person that made the complaint is he's going to keep complaining. He's just going to go back and go after every single thing that's ever been said. And so all we could do is operate according to how you guys say today, and we do that. But I'm just weary that it's going to generate a lot of complaints.
There are specific timelines for filing complaints for our body. So complaints cannot be filed back for forever, Mr. Bushman. So, I do hear, we appreciate that you're a volunteer. Many of the people that come before us are volunteer. Many people that come before us need education. That is a primary mission of our organization, is to educate. We don't want to be punitive. And so, even, I don't know how other commissioners feel, but even if we move forward to investigate today, a likely outcome might be a letter of education in this situation, and to help your body get education so that it can learn how to comply and avoid complaints like this in the future. I also want to just express, sympathy that it sounds like you have somebody that, may be looking to, harm people on your body through filing multiple complaints. But if a complaint is valid, we can't look at a motivation and say, we're not going to proceed with a complaint simply because the motive behind it is a bad motive. So we have to still look at whether the complaint is valid, even if somebody that is filing a complaint may be doing so for inappropriate reasons.
And I
And so-
100% agree, yeah. Has a point. It wasn't done in good bad faith. It was just the city didn't know. I definitely didn't know. And so it was nothing bad faith. It was just people didn't know.
Certainly, and so, and again, I don't know where the other commissioners are leaning, but, you know, I would be leaning towards moving this forward to investigation. We can look at a class exception, which may lead to a dismissal in the future, but, you know, I think helping with education in this circumstance may be helpful to you and to other people on your governing body, and so that's where I would be leading at this point. Commissioner Halt. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, I think Commissioner McCauley may have had her hand up first. Commissioner McCauley.
Thank you, Chair Payne. I think Commissioner Helt did, but her hand's down now. No, I just appreciate your comments, Chair Payne, and I would support your recommendation to move this forward. I think I appreciate the comments from Mr. Bushman and agree that this will probably end up with a letter of education and think that this is a good opportunity to learn.
Thank you, Commissioner McCauley. Commissioner Halt, did you still have a comment?
Thank you, Chair Payne. Yeah, I'm curious about, it sounds like each one of these members of this advisory committee have a conflict of interest by the positions that they fill, by the way the nature of the board is set up. So I'm not sure how, I just want some advice on how we help them educate that, because it sounds like every time they meet, everyone would have to declare a conflict of interest. And so I'd love to hear how that should be structured and how we go about helping the entire organization. Thank you.
So it is always very fact specific whether each of them would have a conflict of interest, whether it would be an actual or a potential conflict of interest. So I think the opportunity here would be to go out, provide some training to them on how to make that determination of actual versus potential, and then how to make the disclosures. If in fact they are potential, all they need to do is make the disclosure, then they can continue to participate and make their recommendations. If they are actual, then it would be training them on how to apply the minimum vote exception. And so really, I think it's the opportunity to go out and provide some training and then also give them advice on how to contact us with specific questions.
Since it's not just Mr. Bushman that is having this issue, it seems like, do we need to have his case move forward to get the letter of education? Because it sounds like the education needs to be deeper to me than just one person on the advisory committee.
So we have the case before us that needs to be resolved. In that case, the recommendation would be to move it to investigation and then, as appropriate, to provide the letter of education for him and his case. But separately, I think it is the opportunity to go out to the city and to the airport authority to provide additional training and guidance. I think both are required in this case.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Vice Chair, are you prepared to make a motion, or would you defer to somebody
I was
else?
going to make a comment first and then
Okay.
see where it goes from there. I think the education is happening here. It sounds like from Mr. Bushman that the city and the Airport Advisory Committee are now aware that there's an issue. We have lots of resources available. I don't think there was any intent here. I mean, obviously, no, that's not our standard, but I don't think there was any intent to violate any kind of rules. So if I were to make a motion, I would make a motion to dismiss this complaint, but I will stand aside if somebody wishes to make the opposite motion.
Commissioner McCauley, are you prepared to make a different motion?
I will make a different motion. Sure.
Okay.
if we're ready for that, I move that the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Kyle Bushman may have violated ORS 244-040 sub 1 and ORS 244-120 sub 2.
Thank you, Commissioner. You've heard the motion, commissioners, and, not sure if it'll pass, but let's proceed. And Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner Halt,
No.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Mettler,
No.
Commissioner Burke,
Nay.
Commissioner Thompson,
No.
Commissioner McCully,
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion failed 3-4.
Okay, Mr. Bushman, as you've heard, we failed to move this case to investigation, which means it is administratively dismissed. So, I do think there's still opportunity for some education here. And so staff will be in touch with you if you would like to get some education and work with staff to have some training moving forward, but there will be no investigation on your particular matter moving forward, and it will be administratively dismissed.
And you guys have the ability to come to Cresswell and meet? Like, this is something we could do, or digitally, to where we could get it? Because I know everyone wants to do the right thing, and I think it's just we have to know exactly what to do.
So just because we have a long agenda today, I'm going to
Sorry,
encourage
Understood.
those conversations to happen after this meeting at another time, but you can have those discussions with staff about next steps. Okay?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bushman.
Bye.
Six right now.
Okay.
Six should be good to go.
See.
Yeah, at the bottom right corner.
Okay. Mr. Scarfo, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Mr. Scarfo, my name is Shanoa Payne, and I'm the chair of the Oregon Government Ethics Commission. So we are about to hear your case. What is going to happen is the investigator is going to give a report, and then commissioners will have an opportunity to ask questions of the investigator, and then you will have a short 3-minute time period to give a short statement. We have a long agenda today, so we ask that you keep your statement within that limited time period as much as you can possibly do. And then commissioners will have an opportunity to ask you questions if they have any. And then we will proceed to move to vote whether to move your case to investigation. Now, that vote today is simply to decide whether to move to investigation. There will be no decision today whether there has been any violation of government ethics laws. It's simply to decide whether to investigate further, okay? So with that said, Investigator Fenstermaker, please provide your report.
Thank you, Chair Payne. Commissioners, I'm Casey Fenstermaker. Agenda item number 6 is regarding Matt Scarfo, a commissioner for the Union County Board of Commissioners. As a little bit of background, a ballot measure was approved by voters in 2015, limiting commissioners to 8 years in office. Subsequently, an ordinance was passed codifying that 8-year term limit. The complaint in this case alleged that because Matt Scarfo wanted to run for a 3rd term in office, he advocated for and voted to have the county attorney file a petition for validation of local government action, seeking judgment on the constitutionality of that ordinance. At the January 22nd meeting, during our preliminary review, we reviewed information that was provided by the county attorney to the commissioners during that meeting. The attorney indicated that there were effectively 3 ways that the constitutionality of the ordinance could be challenged. The commissioners could file a petition for validation of local government action. The county clerk could file the petition for validation of local government action when a person attempted to file their candidacy for a 3rd term, or a commissioner who had already served 2 terms could have filed suit challenging the constitutionality of the ordinance. The attorney indicated a preference for commissioners filing and getting this done ahead of the time that candidates would be required to file for running for office. However, Commissioner Scarfo does not appear to have declared a conflict of interest prior to discussing this matter or voting on moving this matter forward and having the county attorney file that petition for validation of a local government action. Additionally, it appears that there could have been a prohibited use of office because by voting to have the county attorney handle this legal matter, he avoided the cost of procuring his own private legal counsel to handle this matter for him. As a result, we are recommending moving this case to investigation.
Thank you, investigator. Now is the time for commissioners to ask any questions of the investigator. Should you have any? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Mr. Scarfo, please, now is the time for you to make any statement should you choose to do so, and please limit it to 3 minutes or less.
Yes, thank you. For the record, I am Union County Commissioner Matt Scarfo. Thank you for the opportunity to offer a statement regarding this matter, which I sincerely hope you will dismiss at this time. The allegation that I have used county funds for personal gain is untrue. In May of 2018, Union County's legal counsel, Wyatt Baum, was asked by the county administrator at the request of the Union County clerk for a legal opinion regarding Union County Measure 3189 in light of a 2018 Oregon Court of Appeals decision which deemed a similar term limit measure in Douglas County as unconstitutional. On June 1st, 2018, Attorney Baum issued an opinion which discussed the court appeals decisions and offered 3 suggestions. This is in, once again, 2018. It is important to note that I did not begin serving as Union County Commissioner until January of 2019. So saying I use county counsel for personal use is untrue when the opinion had already been issued the prior year. In January of 2025, the current Board of Commissioners consulted with legal counsel Wyatt Baum regarding the status of term limits in Union County. Mr. Baum reviewed his opinions issued in 2018 with the commissioners and discussed the 3 options for clarification. He recommended the commissioners follow option 2 and seek a writ determining the legality. The Union County clerk supported the recommendation because she had fielded many inquiries regarding term limits and wanted the clarification before the upcoming opportunity for candidates to file for the position of Union County Commissioner. This discussion was held in a public meeting. An action to see writ under ORS 33-710 requesting the court determine the legality of the county measure was initiated by the 3 elected commissioners jointly. As a result of the commissioner's request for clarification, Circuit Court Judge Tom Powers declared term limit ballot measure be unconstitutional. So the judge declared it. So county legal counsel was present during the discussions, and when the motion to request a writ was, and when we requested the writ to be made, at no point did he suggest or advise that action would represent an ethics violation. I have complete confidence in Union County's legal counsel and would follow the advice offered to the Board of Commissioners in this matter. I take great pride in my ethics and serving the citizens of Union County. I do not believe that the actions taken by the Board of Commissioners resulted in an ethics violation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scarfo. Any questions for Mr. Scarfo from commissioners? Any discussion? Questions, discussion from commissioners?
Sure.
Yes, please, Vice Chair.
Thank you. It seems to me like we have some date issues, like when specific actions were taken versus when things happened and who was in office when that happened. So I think we could benefit from just a little more investigation and from our investigator on how this all transpired. Because it very well could be that Commissioner Scarfo is exactly correct, and this all happened before he was in office, and in which case the investigation will vindicate that, and this will be put to bed. So I'm in favor of moving this forward to answer those questions.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Any other commissioners have comments, questions, concerns, discussion? Yeah, my understanding is that there's more than just a improper use of council allegations here or potential violations, but there's, that there were some potential discussions that occurred later, lack of declarations of conflict of interest. So I'm also in favor of moving this to investigation just to get more information and possibly understand, because it seemed to me that there wasn't just an allegation of using county council for personal gain, but it was, there was a lot of discussion about, how the county was going to make this challenge to the court, and that those discussions happened when Mr. Scarfo was in office. And so I'm also in favor of moving this forward to investigation just to get all that information and understand exactly what was said. And it seemed like the county made a decision to not have Mr. Scarfo make those challenges himself, which he could have been required to do. Anyone else have any comments? Okay, Vice Chair, are you prepared to make a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Matt Scarfo may have violated ORS 244-040 sub 1 and ORS 244-120 sub 2, and the commission should investigate accordingly.
Okay, commissioners, you've heard the motion. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner McCauley,
Aye.
Commissioner Halt,
Aye.
Commissioner Mettler,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
So, Mr. Scarfo, as I said previously, there was no vote or decision made today that any violation actually occurred. The vote today was simply to move your case to investigation so that we can get more information. And possibly after more information is gathered, your case could ultimately be dismissed, or, another decision could be made. But I just want to clarify that all that happened today is that your case is being moved to further investigation. All right. Thank you for appearing today. We appreciate your time. No one. Okay.
No one.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to item 7, respondent is not appearing. Investigator Sullivan, please provide the report.
Yes, thank you, Chair Payne and Commission. This is Investigator Josh Sullivan for the record. I'm presenting executive session agenda item number 7. This is a complaint against Dan Cutter, City Manager for the City of Waldport. The complaint in this case states that Dan Cutter was served with a restraining order in August of 2025. The complaint alleges that Dan Cutter may have used his official position for personal financial gain when he used city funds to pay for legal counsel in his personal defense against the restraining order. And it states that the benefit was not included in his employment contract nor authorized by City Council. The information obtained in this preliminary review indicates that after Dan Cutter was served the restraining order, he contacted the city attorney, who informed him that the concern may have been covered under the city manager contract. The minutes for the city council's meeting on October 9, 2025 state that the city councilors agreed that Dan Cutter's contract allowed the city to pay for his legal expenses, and they took action to have their insurance provider cover the legal expenses. Because Dan Cutter's official compensation package provides that the city will defend and indemnify him against legal proceedings arising out of an alleged act occurring during the performance of his official duties, and because the city council indicated that the legal expenses were covered by his contract, it does not appear that Dan Cutter engaged in a prohibited use of office. The recommendation is to dismiss this case.
Thank you, Investigator Sullivan. Any questions for the investigator? Seeing and hearing none, Vice Chair, are you prepared to make a motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. For executive session, agenda item number 7, I move the commission dismiss the complaint against Dan Cutter.
Okay, Commissioners, you've heard the motion. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner McCauley,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez, Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Up there.
okay.
Sorry, sorry, can you please repeat, because I lost connection here for a bit.
The motion is to move to dismiss executive agenda item 7, Dan Cutter.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Mettler,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Helt,
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay, how's everybody doing? Do we need a bio break or should we keep pushing through?
Keep pushing.
Okay, all right. We're going to move to the City of Walport series of cases, and the investigator is Investigator Sullivan.
Yes. Thank you, Chair Payne and Commission. This is Investigator Josh Sullivan for the record again. I'm presenting executive session agenda items number 8 through 14. This is a public meetings law complaint against the city councilors for the city of Walport. In her self-reported complaint, Heidi Lampert alleges that she, along with the other members of the city council for the city of Walport, may have violated Oregon public meetings law by discussing unauthorized topics during the executive session portion of a city council meeting on October 9th, 2025. The executive session minutes indicate that on several occasions, Heidi Lampert's discussions began to exceed the scope of the cited executive session provisions, but City Councilor Jamie Morris, City Council Manager Dan Cutter, and the City Attorney each redirected the conversation back to the appropriately cited executive session topics. Because the minutes indicate that the discussion was redirected to the appropriate topics on each occasion, matters began not authorized by the cited executive session provisions were brought up. It does not appear that the city council exceeded the scope of the cited executive session provisions, and the recommendation is to dismiss this case.
Thank you, Investigator Sullivan. Any questions for the investigator? Seeing and hearing none. Vice Chair, are you prepared to make a motion on executive agenda items 8 through 14?
Yes. Before I make the motion, does any commissioner want any of these respondents removed to be voted on separately? All right. For executive session agenda items 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, I move the commission dismiss the complaints against Heidi Lampert, Michelle Severson, Susan Woodruff, Jamie Morris, Richard Booth, Gerald Townsend, and Gregory Dunn.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, you've heard the motion. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Mettler,
Aye.
Commissioner Halt,
Aye.
Commissioner McCully,
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay, we'll move on to executive session agenda items 15 through 18, the Blue River Water District series of cases. Investigator Sullivan.
Yes, thank you. Oh, go ahead.
1 second. We
Oh.
are waiting to see if 17 is going to.
Oh, wait, okay,
make it.
okay, thank you.
They have been notified and we are
Thank you.
trying to communicate with them right now. It's like they did not answer the call.
Okay.
So whatever you'd like to do.
Okay.
Would proceed against.
Yeah, but it's since it's the recommendation is to move to dismiss, we'll go ahead and proceed. Investigator Sullivan, please proceed.
Yes, thank you, Chair Payne and Commission. This is Investigator Josh Sullivan for the record. I'm presenting executive session agenda items number 15 through 18. This is a public meetings law complaint against the board members for the Blue River Water District. The complaint in this case alleges that the members of the board of directors for the Blue River Water District may have violated Oregon Public Meetings Law by failing to properly notice their August 20th and August 22nd, 2025 meetings. Information provided by the district and by the complainant indicates that the board did not actually hold meetings on either August 20th or August 22nd. And because the meetings were never held, it does not appear that the board violated the public meeting notice requirements by failing to provide advance public notice of their meetings. The recommendation is to dismiss this case.
Thank you, Investigator Sullivan. Does anyone have questions for the investigator? Seeing and hearing none. Vice Chair, do you have a motion prepared for agenda items 15 through 18?
Yes. Does any commissioner wish to have any of these respondents removed from the group? All right. For executive session agenda items 15, 16, 17, and 18, I move the commission dismiss the complaints against Jim Parks, Shannon Goodpasture Lure, Anthony Abel, and Joshua Cloak.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, you've heard the motion. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Mettler,
Aye.
Commissioner Halt,
Aye.
Commissioner McCully,
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
Sure. We are working on getting the 3 respondents for 19, 20, and 21 on.
Okay.
We don't have them yet.
Okay.
I would recommend moving to 22 and 23 where no one is appearing, and then that way we can give them a little bit more time.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, we will do that. We are going to move ahead to executive session agenda items 22 and 23, the City of Shady Cove items. Investigator Fenstermaker, please proceed.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I didn't give you a heads up.
No, I moved to the wrong case entirely, so I was sorry about that. Okay, in this case, first of all, I'm Casey Fenstermaker for the record. Thank you.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, like I said, I just switched to a different case entirely and pulled up everything. So with respect to agenda items number 22 and 23, the complaint in this case alleged that a decision was made during an executive session in violation of ORS 192.660 on October 15th, 2025. It turns out that the 2 individuals in these 2 cases, Kathy Knuckles and Jeffrey Veneer, were not part of that governing body as of the date of that executive session. As a result, we're recommending dismissal in this case.
Thank you, Investigator Fenstermaker. Any questions for the investigator? Seeing and hearing none, Vice Chair, are you prepared to make a motion on executive session agenda items 22 and 23?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Does anybody wish to separate these two for votes? Hearing none. For executive session agenda items 22 and 23, I move the commission dismiss the complaints against Kathy Knuckles and Jeffrey Veneer.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, you've heard the motion. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner McCauley.
Aye.
Commissioner Halt,
Aye.
Commissioner Mettler,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay, are we prepared to proceed on executive session agenda items 19 through 21?
Yep, they are here. I'm letting them know right now. They're all on the phone, so we need to be quiet and let them hear the instructions once we let them on. So just a moment, please. All right, we should be good to go, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Richardson, Mr. Mitchell, and Ms. Winfrey, are you available? Can you hear me? Ms. Richardson, can you hear me?
You'll have to unmute. I believe it's *6.
*6 to unmute yourself.
Mr. Mitchell is as the one that has their hand up.
Okay. He's still muted though. *6 to unmute yourself. We cannot unmute you, so you need to hit *6 on your phone to unmute yourself.
One came through. It's
It
like
is. What?
Lena Richardson should
Miss-
be able to speak.
Ms. Richardson, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. And what about Ms. Winfrey? Are you available and can you hear me? Okay, well, hopefully Mr. Mitchell can figure out how to unmute himself, but Ms. Richardson, we're gonna just go ahead and, Mr. Mitchell, can you hear me?
Same one.
Same one, okay. Well, we're gonna go ahead and proceed for time's sake. I understand there may be some technical difficulties that one of you is figuring out. Now is the time for us to consider the cases that have been asserted against you as respondents in this matter. How this is going to proceed is that the investigator is going to give the report. Commissioners will have an opportunity to ask questions of the investigator. And then each of you will have a short time period to make a statement. Hopefully the technological difficulties will have been fixed by that time, but if not, those of you who are unmuted will have an opportunity to make a statement. The statement will be limited to 3 minutes per person. And then commissioners will have an opportunity to ask questions of you at that time. The recommendation is to move to investigate these violations. There will be no decision today as to whether any actual violations have occurred. And I just want to emphasize that the decision today is to either vote to move to investigate further or not. That's the only decision that will be made today. With that said, Investigator Fenstermaker, please provide the report.
Thank you, Chair. Commissioners, I'm Casey Fenstemaker for agenda items number 19, 20, and 21. Complaint alleged that a decision was made during an executive session in violation of ORS 192.660 on October 15th, 2025. Information reviewed in this preliminary review indicates an executive session was in fact held on October 15th, 2025, wherein the city councilors discussed placing the city administrator on paid leave. It also appears resumes of potential acting administrators were introduced during that executive session. That evening, it appears that the Shady Cove Legal Counsel contacted the then current city administrator and told her that she was being placed on leave. The following morning, October 16th, 2025, it appears the city administrator turned in her city-issued keys and city-issued cell phone and left for the remainder of the day. At the city council meeting that evening, the city councilors voted to place the city administrator. Therefore, while the city councilors indicated during the public meeting that only a consensus was reached in executive session, by apparently placing the city administrator on leave prior to taking a formal vote on the matter in a public meeting, it appears they violated public meetings law and in fact made a decision. There was also the allegation that resumes of potential acting administrators were inappropriately considered during executive session because it was not noticed that those would in fact be discussed or circulated. As a result, we are recommending that this case be moved to investigation.
Thank you, Investigator Fenstermaker. Commissioners, do you have any questions for the investigator? Seeing and hearing none. Ms. Richardson, now is the time, should you so choose to make a brief statement. Please limit your time to 3 minutes or less. And I'm not sure you can see the timer, so I will try to give you a short warning when your time is coming up.
Thank you. The commission's statement that the council made a decision during the October 15th, 2025 executive session is legally and factually incorrect. The council met in executive sessions to discuss attorney-client privileged communication. A confidential memorandum was presented to the city council by the city attorney. During this executive session, the council reached consensus concerning matters discussed during the executive session, which matters were addressed in the confidential memorandum. No official action was taken nor any council decision made. As in the case with other public bodies, it's standard practice to inform the affected employee that a council may be considered moving into a particular direction, for instance, discipline, suspension, or termination. This is intended to provide the affected employee with an opportunity to prepare for a possible decision and avoid being surprised by any decision that may be unfavorable to that employee. In this case, the city attorney informed Ms. Perry on the evening of October 15th that the council may consider placing her on paid administrative leave and that a final decision, if any, would be made during the October 16th public meeting or subsequent council meeting. During this conversation, the city attorney did not make any statements to Ms. Perry concerning the need to return any city property. I do not know why Ms. Winfrey went to City Hall on the morning of the 16th to ask for the keys or the phone, as she said she did in her statement. During the October 16th council meeting, the council voted to place Ms. Perry on paid administrative leave and to commence an investigation into her complaint. It was during this public meeting that the decision was made to place Ms. Perry on leave and not during the October 15th executive session. Importantly, and in support that a final decision was not made during the October 15th executive session, on or about October 20th, the city provided Ms. Perry a notice of administrative leave. This notice informed Ms. Perry that she was placed on paid administrative leave effective October 16th. This notice also requested that Ms. Perry return all city property, including her city cell phone and her keys. With regard to a distribution of
Got about 10
resumes
seconds
for-
left, Miss Richard, Miss.
Okay, then go
Yeah,
ahead.
please wrap it up.
Okay, so with regard to handing out resumes, I don't know if I did that before or after, but if we were going to place her on administrative leave, we needed to have some information to make a decision the next day, because we did not have anybody in City Hall to conduct city business until we had an interim city administrator. But these were passed out. They were not discussed until October 16th meeting.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mitchell, are you still on mute, or were you able to unmute yourself? Okay. Ms. Winfrey, are you able to unmute yourself? *6. Okay.
This is Steve Mitchell. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Okay, you've got
okay.
3 minutes to make a statement. Please be brief and go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Again, my name is Steve Mitchell. I serve on the city council as the president of the council. Been with them for, on the council for, this is my 9th year. Came from government by background. I know due process is very important, and I respect the law in the process. Regarding what took place at the executive session, I really can't comment on that. But what I will say is that the response that the city attorney gave is correct. And also hearing what Mayor Richardson just said is also correct. There was no discussion when we did receive some resumes for potential city administrators. That was just passed out. No discussion took place whatsoever. I'm really kind of surprised at the comments, speculations that Councilor Winfrey had made, which is not true in that respect. So I just want to reiterate. I can't really talk much about executive session conversations other than what was stipulated in the complaint is not correct, and also the items that was stated by Councilor Winfrey was also not correct. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. One last time, Ms. Winfrey, are you able to unmute yourself, *6, and make a statement?
I believe I am.
Okay, great. Thank you. Please proceed.
Yeah, so in the October 15th executive session, the statement that I previously made, I don't have it in front of me, but I was surprised that the applications were pulled out, and questioned the mayor about that in the meeting. We did discuss the applications to the extent that I was surprised where they came from. It just felt odd. And even actually, a comment was made in the meeting by the mayor that monies had been discussed, that one wanted a lot of money, the other one didn't mention, and that a discussion was had that no more would be given to them than what Ms. Perry was currently being given. So basically what it said in my statement, and I'm not looking at it at the moment, but that is what happened. I was concerned about it, so I contacted the city attorney later, and he assured me that what had happened was in accordance with, that it was fine. So he also encouraged me to consider asking questions about procedure, which I continued to do in the 16th meeting, only to be shut down as usual. The comments about Ms. Perry, I was asked in the October 15th meeting to be the buffer between her and City Hall because she trusted me, and that I was asked to meet her by Jeremy after he notified her of the situation or whatever he told her. I do not know, but an appointment was made to meet her the next day where she gave me those two things, and then she left. So that was all organized by the attorney. I even was the one to deliver her leave letter because I was placed in that position. So other than that, I don't really know what to say, other than that my statement is completely factual and true, because I came home and made notes myself because I felt so odd about it.
Okay, thank you. Do any commissioners have any questions for any of the respondents? Vice Chair.
No questions, but it seems to me like we have some date issues to clean up and some conflicting accounts to reconcile. So I would support moving this into investigation to get those date issues resolved and conflicting accounts accounted for.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I personally concur. I just am left feeling with more questions than answers. Investigator, what was there any interview done with Ms. Perry at this point?
No, not during this time.
So during an investigation, would that be some further information that is gathered?
Yeah, the only information that we really got from Ms. Perry was through the newspaper articles. And so, but yes, during the investigation, we would seek to interview her, try to interview legal counsel if they were willing and able to discuss what had happened in executive session and those kinds of things.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think it would be helpful to gather that information as well. So I'm inclined to just move this to investigation to get some more answers and more information at this point. And Commissioner Heltz?
Thank you, Chair Payne. I agree with all the comments that have been said. I'm curious about if it was allowed under the executive session to be discussing resumes. So that was a question that I had.
Right, so they held the executive session under 192.660 sub 2 sub F, which allows them to consider information or records that are considered confidential. And in this case, it sounds as though they did in fact review an attorney-client privileged memo related to placing the city administrator on leave. So that seems to be where there's that connection. There was no other executive session provision cited, so those resumes or applications wouldn't have been considered confidential. How they were incorporated into the discussion and the attorney-client privileged memo, that is a question. And so that's one more reason why we believe that more investigation is needed, because it kind of depends on how the discussion went and what all was included in the attorney's information that he provided and presented.
Thank you. Thanks for the clarification.
Thank you.
Any other commissioners have questions, comments, points of discussion? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Vice Chair, we will be taking these individually. Are you prepared to make a motion for
I am.
item 19?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Lena Richardson may have violated ORS 192.660 and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, you've heard the motion. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
thank you. Commissioner McCauley,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Mettler,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Helt,
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay, executive session agenda item 20, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Steve Mitchell may have violated ORS 192.660 and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
Okay, commissioners, you've heard the motion. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Mettler,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner McCully,
Aye.
Commissioner Halt,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
Executive session agenda item 21, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Paige Winfrey may have violated ORS 192660 and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, you've heard the motion. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner McCully,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Mettler,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Halt,
Aye.
thank you, Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay, Ms. Richardson, Mr. Mitchell, and Ms. Winfrey, what has happened today is that the commission has voted to move your cases to investigation. Again, no decision has been made that any violations have occurred. We are just going to be gathering more information and further investigating your cases. Staff will be in touch with each of you regarding next steps. Thank you for appearing today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I am going to briefly recommend that we take a brief bio break before we move into the next series of cases. So let's break for 10 minutes and we'll come back at 10:55 a.m. Okay. We are calling the meeting back to order. We are back in executive session under same authority as previously stated. We are proceeding to agenda item 25 first, and we will proceed.
32.
What?
Remember, we were gonna jump ahead.
Okay, forget that. We are jumping ahead to agenda items 32 through 34 first, and then we will go back up to other agenda items. So thank you for the reminder for that, Executive Director. So we will proceed to agenda items 32 through 34. These will be heard together, and no one is appearing. So Investigator Fenstermaker, please proceed with the report.
Thank you, Chair, Commissioners. This is Casey Fenstermaker for the record regarding agenda items 32, 33, and 34. The complaint in this matter stated that Christine Hutchins was prohibited from being allowed to attend public meetings held by Lincoln County Commissioners. A review of the matter indicates that the exclusion from the public meetings was not an action taken by the governing body, but had actually been done by the acting city administrator at the time, who just happened to be a Lincoln County Commissioner. That was Claire Hall. Therefore, because the action wasn't taken by the governing body, we're recommending dismissal because they didn't actually violate public meetings.
I have a question, but I'll defer to other commissioners who may have questions for the investigator. Anyone? So I'm looking at the report, and it appears that you're finding that the commissioners didn't take action, only applied to Miller and Chuck, but did not apply to Hall. Is that correct?
No, I believe that we wanted all of those to be dismissed, or are recommending dismissal in all of those cases, because at that particular point in time, Claire Hall was acting in their capacity as a city official and not the commissioner. So there was no vote taken to prohibit Christine Hutchins from attending those public meetings. She wasn't removed from any public meeting or anything like that. And so because it was taken in the capacity as a city official in compliance with, well, it turns out it wasn't in compliance with their city procedures, but because it was handled in accordance with city procedures by a city administrator, that's why we're recommending that the cases be dismissed against all of the commissioners, even though she happened to be the city administrator at the time.
Okay, so she was staff and she was not sitting as a public official at that time.
She was still a public official, but just not
As a county commissioner.
Yes.
She held basically both positions. She was a commissioner, but the action that she took in sending a letter to the complainant saying you may not attend was action in her temporary role as acting administrator, not as the county commissioner.
Okay, I understand.
Okay. And in my conversations with the complainant had gotten this letter saying you may not attend. And I'm like, well, have you tried to attend? Had she shown up and had the county commission boot her out of a meeting, that would have been the county commission taking action. But she never actually tried to attend the meeting.
So I'm having difficulty with the latter sort of reasoning, because it seems like the letter in and of itself would have deterred her from showing up. And so I'm having a harder time with the latter reasoning. And I don't think I would dismiss based on the latter reasoning. But if she's not acting in a capacity as a public official, I'm okay with dismissing in that capacity. But for me, I'm having a hard time with the reasoning of it wasn't board action because she didn't actually show up, because the letter itself would deter somebody from actually showing up.
I agree with you that, and that was in fact the impact of the letter. But the problem is the letter isn't from the county commission, it's from its acting administrator.
And that makes sense to me, but I just wanted to clarify that for me, the latter reasoning wouldn't be sufficient for me to dismiss this.
Okay.
Anyone, Commissioner Helps?
Thank you, Chair Payne. I'm curious why this doesn't just dismiss itself since Claire Hall has passed away.
Yes, so the reason that we needed to proceed with finalizing a report is because the deadline for the preliminary review period expired prior to a commission meeting where we could have the commission close this administratively. So that's the first part. The second part is we're recommending voting on this because otherwise the case would remain in preliminary review. And the complaint was really focused on Claire Hall and Claire Hall's participation in the exclusion from these public meetings. And so by voting on this matter and being able to provide this report, we believe it will provide some clarification for the community and maybe some closure for the community regarding Claire Hall's actions.
I struggle with having a case on someone that's deceased. I think we should send condolences to the family and the community and anyone that knew her, and it should be dismissed. I think there should be some sort of legislative, as we're working on new laws, if someone passes away, I think the case should be dismissed so that we don't have to continue to bring a community and loved ones pain after they've lost someone. Thank you.
Thank you. And just for clarification, our recommendation in each of these cases is to dismiss the case. So just to clarify.
If the recommendation wasn't to dismiss, though, I mean, I kind of am curious about Commissioner Helt's sort of comment, or if we disagreed with the recommendation, then what would happen? We'd be moving to investigate a complaint against somebody who's deceased.
Right. The commission, I mean, you as a commission could, in either situation for item 32, while the recommendation is to dismiss in the same manner of the others, you could instead just do an administrative dismissal because she is no longer with us.
I have a fancy new motion for that. Thank you, Susan.
Wrote that.
I would support a
Thank you,
motion
Becky.
for that.
But legally, once she is deceased, you could not move to investigate on that individual.
Okay. So it seems to me like we're having a discussion about something on the merits where we could not even move to investigate. So my preference would be to move to administratively dismiss this case. Because it seems to me like we're talking about something that we have no choice to move forward to investigation. So I appreciate the comment, Investigator Fenstermaker, but I think the appropriate choice here would be to move to administratively dismiss. Do any other commissioners have thoughts about that? Burke, I think you have a conflict on this and cannot discuss this case.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I don't want to discuss the case. I just want to make sure that
And,
this
and
issue
so,
is
and so I'm
divided
not,
from the
I'm
other.
not gonna allow discussion, Burke. You've declared a conflict, so,
right.
and so we're gonna just, delay any, comment on this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you entertain a question for legal counsel from me?
Yes.
Okay. Sean, what happens to this preliminary review report regarding Claire Hall? Can it be published on our website and made public, or does it remain confidential because it remains in preliminary review?
So I can answer that outside of the,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm prepared to make a motion.
Okay, yes, Vice Chair, please.
For agenda item 30, or for executive session, agenda item 32, I move the commission approve the recommendation to administratively close the case against Claire Hall.
That was not the recommendation. Do you want to revise your motion slightly?
I will revise my motion slightly. Motion withdrawn, new motion. For agenda item 32, I move the commission administratively close the case against Claire Hall.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, you've heard the motion. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner Mettler,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner McCauley,
Aye.
Commissioner Helt,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke. Oh, sorry, you're abstaining. Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0 with one abstention.
Commissioner Burke, if you have a comment, I just want to make sure it's not about that specific matter, but if you have a comment generally, go ahead.
No, it's not. I just wanted to make sure that that item was divided from items 33 and 34, and it is. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yes, it was. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to proceed now on items 33 and 34, which we can take together. Commissioner Burke, you don't have a conflict on those two matters, correct?
Correct.
Okay. The report remains the same for those two items. Vice Chair, do you have or do we have any discussion on the other two items? Okay. Vice Chair, do you have a motion that you are prepared to make?
Any commissioners want to separate these two? All right. For executive session, item number 33 and 34, I move the commission dismiss the complaints against Casey Miller and Walter Chuck.
Commissioners, you've heard the motion. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner McCauley.
Aye.
Commissioner Helt.
Aye.
Commissioner Mettler.
Aye.
Commissioner Burke.
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez.
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay, are we doing 31 first, or are we moving to the other items?
Now we're back to 25.
Okay, now we're going to go to executive session agenda item 25. We're going to hear 25 first, then we'll hear 29 second, and then we'll hear the remaining items all together. And just as a reminder, Resendez Gutierrez, you've declared a conflict on this matter and will not be participating in discussion or voting on this. Is that correct? Okay. Thank you. So agenda item 25, Julie Weissman, has she joined us yet?
Yeah, she should be popping up here. Just a second. She has the capability to.
Okay, Ms. Weissman, are you, can you hear me? Oh, there she is.
Yes. Sorry, I wasn't sure if I should turn on yet.
No worries. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Shanoa Payne, and I'm the chair of the Oregon Government Ethics Commission. The way that this is going to go is that the investigator is going to give a report on your case, and then commissioners will have an opportunity to ask questions of the investigator. Then you will have a short 3-minute period to give a statement. We just ask that you stay within that 3 minutes because we do have a long agenda today. And then commissioners will have an opportunity to ask questions of you if they have any. And then we will move to vote on your case. The only decision that is up for a vote today is whether to move your case to investigation. Importantly, there is no decision being made today whether any violation has occurred. The only vote today is going to be whether the commission is going to decide to move your case to investigation. So I just want you to understand that that's the only decision that will be made today. With that said,
Chair, could I remind you, I think we had discussed, would we hear this case?
Oh, yes.
And the other case, and then go to the bigger group and then bring these back?
Yes.
For a vote.
Thank you, Executive Director. Yes, so the procedure is going to be a little bit different because we have multiple respondents on this matter. So actually, the procedure will be that we will hear your statement. And then before taking a vote on your matter, we're going to hear the other cases from all the respondents. And then we'll allow you back in and vote on your matter at the very end. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Executive Director, for that reminder. Investigator Fenstermaker, please proceed with the report.
Thank you. With respect to agenda item number 25, Chair and Commissioners, I'm Casey Fenstermaker for the record. The complaint in this case alleged that the Lane Community College Board of Education members approved the 2026 fiscal year budget in June of 2025. Subsequently, because the budget included several million dollars in budget cuts, the president of the college organized a series of meetings with Lane Community College board members regarding identified cuts. They were held in August of 2025. A number of board members attended those meetings in August of 2025. Once the meetings were held, but prior to a public meeting, the president sent an email to what appears to be all of the board members describing changes that were made to the presentation that would be provided at the public meeting regarding those budget cuts that were based on the comments involved that were made during those August 2025 individual meetings with the president. As a result, it appears that there were, because a quorum was involved, a series of serial communications. And so it doesn't matter whether or not any of these individual board members actually attended one of those August 2025 meetings. They were wrapped into the potential serial communications as the result of that email communication that was circulated by the president. As a result, we are recommending that these cases be moved to investigation to clarify various facts alleged. Additionally, I just want to point out one clarification. After the report was written and circulated, Austin Folnege, the individual who filed the complaint, clarified that he made a mistake when he, Zach Mulholland, attended one of the meetings in August, and that instead it was board member Jesse Maldonado who'd actually attended the meeting. So he wanted that clarified for the record. And again, the recommendation is to move this to investigation to determine whether there were possible violations of public meetings law pursuant to 192.630 sub 1 and sub 2.
Thank you, investigator. Commissioners, do you have any questions for the investigator? Hold on, Ms. Weissman. It's not quite your turn yet. No, that's okay. That's okay. Now is the time for commissioners to ask any questions of the investigator, and then we'll let you make your statement after that. Yeah, Vice Chair, please.
On page 216 or page 4 of the report, page 216 in our books, the email from the president says, these are opportunities to ask questions, hear about our approach, and engage in dialogue about the path ahead. And that's the part that concerns me, because I think that crosses from information sharing to discussing a matter that will come before the board. Is that how you see it?
Yes, thank you for the question. I would agree. And I believe more investigation is required to determine exactly what types of questions were asked and answered.
Thank you.
Any other commissioners have questions for our investigator before we hear Ms. Weissman's statement? Seeing and hearing none. Okay, Ms. Weissman, you can now proceed and please keep your statement to 3 minutes or less.
Okay, I'm a little nervous, and I actually missed the part about the concern of the follow-up email as being part of the complaint that was done. So my comments aren't really addressed to it. So I do want to state that we weren't aware of anybody who was talking. And so that would have been one of the first things that we heard in September that I recall. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. This is concerning for me. I'm a little nervous. I want to provide some context to the complaint. I can appreciate that the email is part of the process of following up. I can also appreciate the concerns that one of the board members just raised about the original invitation. But when the meetings that I attended with Chair Fulnegi did not have any questions that were really asked. It was a presentation. It was a summary of the kind of the how they were approaching the mandated reductions that we had approved in June based on the values, the board values that were brought up and raised during the July retreat. So they were summarizing those values. This is the approach they want to take. Here's how the budget update is looking. We already knew many of those things. There's about $600,000 that were really being affected. The rest of them were vacancy savings that they were simply reporting on. They asked if we had any questions. Neither one of us had any questions. There was no dialogue. There was no comments raised. No reference to anybody else attending any meetings. And it was just simply a statement. Most of the information that we got was very similar to what we had received during the budgeting process and in June and other budget update that we got in the first part of July. So this is right now we have a new chair that just got elected. He was concerned about the emails when she sent out the invitation. He, instead of raising the concerns to us as board members, saying, wait, everybody, I think this is a problem, he met with her and then raised some concerns. It was a really generalized meeting. I attended as an observer. The president had asked me to do so after the August investigation findings that related to her treatment as a president. And then there was an email that was sent that was summarized that generalized concern. And then even the vice chair sent one that I'm not even sure, it was a summary of a voicemail he left for the president. So the chair, during that time, he had 2 weeks to actually raise this concern to the board, and he didn't do so. And so we never even had a chance to possibly hear his concerns about this. And so we never even knew that we were walking into any possible violation or hear his concerns. 6 hours after the meeting on August 28th that he and I attended, he filed a grievance. He never sent any of that to us. We never knew about the grievance until the president shared it with us after she had received it. I see a 0, so does that mean I'm done?
If you could just wrap it up real quickly. So
I raised this, the reason I'm sharing this with you is that I can see where we might have, kind of gone like this, but we weren't aware of it. As far as I'm concerned, it felt like a meeting that we were having with the president. There was no serial communication. She wasn't passing along information or sharing with us. And if the chair had really wanted to stop this and really felt this strongly enough to file a complaint, then he, as the chair, had the authority to stop the process and demand a meeting. And he never even gave us that opportunity. And so the first opportunity we have to speak is here and with the investigator. And so this complaint arose with a series of choices and timings. And it's just, it feels intent, I don't know, I can't say that. This
Okay,
isn't the
thank-
present, yeah.
Thank
sorry.
you. Thank you so much for your statement. Do any commissioners have a question for Ms. Weissman? Okay, we're not going to vote on your matter now. And we're going to hear from some other respondents, but do you want to?
Yeah. So we are going to remove you from the meeting so that we can hear the other respondents. If you could just rejoin the meeting, and then I'll bring you in when it's time to make the decision for your particular case.
Okay, thank you.
So just didn't want you to be concerned when you were removed. So
Thank you so much for appearing today and for giving your statement. And we'll see you back when you reappear. Thank you. All Tucker?
yes, we are bringing them in right now. Just a moment, please. They have been brought in and should have permissions.
Mr. Alltucker, are you here with us?
I'm muted.
You are muted, Alltucker. Can you, Mr. Alltucker, can you unmute yourself? You're still muted, Mr. Alltucker. Can you unmute yourself? Yeah.
Actually,
The little microphone, if you can click on that to unmute yourself. They have authority to
Yeah.
use it. Okay.
yeah, they've got the permissions. I just double checked.
Okay, so maybe perhaps, oh, there we go. Okay,
Here
Mr.
I am.
Alltucker, there we go. Wonderful. Okay. Mr. Alltucker, thank you for joining us. My name's Shanoa Peen. I'm the chair of the Oregon Government Ethics Commission. Now is the time and place for us to consider the complaint against you. The way this is going to go is that the investigator is going to provide the report, and then commissioners will be able to ask any questions of the investigator. And then you'll have a short 3-minute time period to give a statement, should you so choose. And then because there are several other respondents appearing in this case, we will have you leave the meeting so that those respondents can appear. And then we will have you, we'll give you instructions on how to rejoin the meeting. So that after we've heard statements from all the respondents, we can vote on your case at that time. So that's sort of how this is going to go. The decision that's under consideration today is not whether any violations have occurred, but just whether to move your case to further investigation, and as to whether possible violations have occurred. So I just want to make sure that that distinction is clear. That said, Investigator Fenstermaker, please provide the report.
Thank you, Chair, Commissioners. I'm Casey Fenstermaker. With respect to agenda item number 29, the complaint in this case alleged a violation of public meetings law as a result of a series of meetings held by the president of Lane Community College. Lane Community College Board of Education members approved the 2026 fiscal year budget in June of 2025. The budget included a number of reductions, And once the budget was passed, the administration began the process of identifying budget cuts. The president organized and held a series of meetings with Lane Community College board members regarding those identified cuts. Following that series of meetings in which a number of board members attended, the president sent an email to what appears to be all board members, indicating what changes had been made to the presentation that would be provided in a public meeting the following day. As a result, it appears that, and because that communication was sent to a quorum of the Board of Education members, it appears that the Board of Education may have engaged in serial communications in violation of 192.630 sub 1 and 192.630 sub 2.
Thank you, Investigator Fenstermaker. Now is the time for commissioners to ask any questions of the investigator, if you have any. Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Altucker, now is the time for you to make a statement, should you choose to do so, and we ask that you keep that statement to 3 minutes or less, please.
Thank you. I do have a written statement that I would like to read to the commission. I appreciate the opportunity. Chair and commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to provide information. My name is Kevin Altucker. I'm an elected member of the 7-person Lane Community College Board of Trustees, the governing body of the college. 4 trustees constitute a quorum. I'm here to respond to a complaint filed with this commission regarding a meeting between the college president, the vice president of finance, and individual trustees, and to place that complaint in its proper governance and factual context. The board approved the college budget for fiscal year 2025-2026 on June 4th, 2025. Following budget adoption, President Stephanie Bolger offered trustees the opportunity to meet with her and Vice President of Finance, Kara Flath, to receive financial information. On August 28th, 2025, I attended one such meeting. Trustee Jesse Maldonado was also present. No quorum existed. The communication during the meeting was purely factual and educational. The financial information presented at that meeting was identical to that already shared publicly with the full board. No new data were introduced, no alternative framing was offered, and no program-specific information was presented or discussed. President Bolger and Vice President Flath did not solicit or share the views of any trustee. There was no deliberation, no polling or sharing of opinion, and no decision-making of any kind. Despite this, the board chair, Austin Fulnegi, filed a complaint with this commission regarding these meetings. The complaint was filed against the entire board of trustees, including Chair Fulnegi himself. After raising concerns about these meetings, Chair Fulnegi later attended one of the same informational meetings he had characterized as problematic. I note this sequence because it reveals an internal inconsistency that undermines the complaint credibility. This context is especially relevant given prior conduct and findings. In the spring 2025, 3 separate complaints were filed against former board chair Zach Mulholland related to Mr. Mulholland's conduct towards President Bolger. I filed one of those complaints. The board engaged the law firm Garrett Herman Robertson to conduct an independent investigation. That investigation focused on the conduct of the board leadership, including Austin Fulnegi and former board chair Zach Mulholland, and examined whether their actions impeded effective governance and the president's ability to perform her duties. The investigation determined that board leadership engaged in dismissive, disrespectful, and intimidating conduct towards the president, perceived by the president and multiple witnesses as microaggressions based on race and gender. At least one complaint alleging bullying and creating a hostile work environment was substantiated. In September, the board voted to censure Mr. Mulholland. I have one more short paragraph. Given that context and timing, I'm concerned that filing an ethics complaint in response to a non-quorum meeting that conveyed only previously shared public information could reasonably be interpreted as retaliation against the president, even if that was not the stated intent. That perception alone places the college and the board at risk. I'm further concerned as to why Chair Folneggy attended the meeting with President Bolger and subsequently filed this complaint if he believed that the board was acting inappropriately the entire time and yet allowed us to proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Altucker. Commissioners, does any commissioner have a question for Mr. Altucker? Commissioner Held.
Thank you, Chair Payne. Do you know if these meetings were publicly noticed?
I don't know. My recollection is that I don't believe that the meetings between President Bolger, Vice President Flath, and trustees were publicly noticed.
And then you spoke to what you didn't discuss in the meetings, but was there anything different in the meetings at all that you discussed? Was there a value in having the meetings?
Well, I can speak to what happened in my meeting. So it was the same financial information at a high level, no program specific items identified. And it was the same information that the board had received in a public meeting previously. So was there value in the meeting? I was interested if the meeting would generate questions in my mind that I hadn't thought about previously. It turned out that I didn't have any questions. I don't remember Trustee Maldonado having any questions. So it was kind of a review of information that we'd had already received.
Thank you.
Any follow-up, Commissioner Held? Any other commissioners have questions for Mr. Altucker? Okay, do you want to provide Mr. Altucker instructions about how to rejoin the meeting?
Yeah, so we are going to remove you from this meeting so that we can speak with the other respondents. If you could please rejoin the meeting the same way. We'll have you in the waiting lobby until we get to your case again to make the decision.
I appreciate that. I understand. So I'll monitor my phone for a text saying, hey, time to log back on.
Oh, no. Actually, if you could just log back on right away, we'll have you wait in that lobby for when the decision comes up.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Altucker.
Second. Okay, I'm now bringing in the rest of.
Commissioner Held, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a general question about these serial emails. If you receive a serial email, is there any way that you cannot be guilty of being part of a serial email? Because it seems like once the email is sent, you have no control over it being sent to you, but you receive the email and then that is a violation and now you're in a serial meeting. Is there any way that people, once they receive this, are not guilty of having a serial email? Does that make any sense at all?
Yes.
I think it's going to be an it depends answer. It depends on what's, I guess, what is in the email, what other discussions may have occurred, what the person did, with that email. I think those would be factors that the commission would determine as to whether or not a violation occurred or not.
So let me give a hypothetical. So if you get the serial email and then you say, this is a serial email, I do not want to partake in this. Everyone should adhere to Robert's Rules of Orders, blah, blah, blah. Then you are not guilty of getting the serial email, even though you've received it?
That would be a factual determination for the commission as to whether or not to find that as evidence of a violation or evidence of not a violation. But those are the facts that you as the commission have to determine whether or not that's sufficient.
For each case.
For each individual case.
Okay, thank you. I just need that clarification. Thank you.
Okay, I am now adding the people.
Okay. we're going to now be adding the additional respondents and hearing the rest of the cases as a group.
Sure. We just lost respondent Rust,
Okay.
but the other three are in, and I'm giving them permissions now. So we'll wait just one more second.
Okay.
Chair, this is Austin Folnigy. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be in this room at this moment or not.
You
If, you're
you are, but can you
Okay,
hold on just one moment while we're continuing to add the other respondents as well? Thank you. Just hold on one second.
So Rust is right.
Okay.
You should be good.
Okay, Mr. Fulnagi, Mr. Mulholland, Mr. Russ, Mr. I don't know if I'm saying your last name right, Mital. And are you all present and can you hear me?
Yes.
yes, I can.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. Now is the time and place to hear the complaints asserted against you. The way this will proceed is that the investigator will give the report. Commissioners will ask questions of the investigator if there are any, and then we will give each of you individually a short time period of 3 minutes to make a statement. If you don't each have to make a statement, but you will be allowed the opportunity to do so. I will call on each of you individually at that time to make a short statement. We will be limited to 3 minutes because we do have a long agenda today. I do ask that you do your best to stay within that time period respectfully, and then we will discuss your case. And the decision that is before us today is just whether to move this case to investigation. It is not to determine whether any actual violation has occurred. And so that is the decision that is before us today. I want to make that distinction very clear. And with that said, Investigator Fenstermaker, please provide the report.
Thank you, Chair. Commissioners, this is Casey Fenstermaker. Regarding agenda items 24, 26, 27, 28, and 28.
And 30, even though he's not here.
And 30, yes, thank you. And 30. The complaint alleged that public meetings law was violated through a series of individual meetings held between the president of Lane Community College and Lane Community College board members in August of 2025. The Lane Community College Board of Education approved the 2026 fiscal year budget in June of 2025, which included budget reductions. Once the budget was passed, the administration began the process of identifying cuts to make. The Lane Community College president held a series of meetings with Lane Community College board members regarding the identified cuts. Subsequent to those meetings, the president sent an email to what appears to be all board members, relaying information that occurred throughout those series of meetings in August of 2025. That communication occurred outside of a public meeting, and effectively there was an entire quorum involved in this series of communications that included both the August meetings and that email communication. A clarification for the record, Austin Folnigy, following the preparation and circulation of the report, notified me that he made a misstatement and that it was Maldonado who had attended one of the meetings, board member Maldonado who had attended one of the meetings, not board member Mulholland. And board member Mattel reached out to me and advised that he had reached out to me during the course of the investigation to indicate he had not attended one of the meetings, but that information hadn't made it into the report. And that was just an oversight on my part. So, but again, whether or not somebody attended one of the August meetings is not what results in the serial communication. It was the solidification of those communications with that email from President Pilcher. As a result, the recommendation is to move these cases to investigation.
Thank you, investigator. Commissioners, do you have any questions for the investigator? Seeing and hearing none, I'm going to start with Mr. Folnigy. You have 3 minutes to make a statement should you choose to do so.
Excellent. Chair, Commissioners, can you hear me okay?
We can. Thank you.
Fantastic. Great. If you wouldn't mind, I'd just like to pull up some notes here really quick. All right. Good morning, Chair and members of the Commission. My name is Austin Folnigy. I'm currently serving as Chair of the Board of Directors of Lane Community College. Previous to this, I was President of the Oregon Community College Association and also served as a board member for Klamath Community College, where I served as Vice Chair. Lane Community College is one of the largest community colleges in the state. We serve thousands of students and steward nearly hundreds of millions of dollars in public dollars. And with an institution at a scale of this size, the responsibility to adhere to the highest standards of transparency in Oregon public meeting law is required. We do provide onboarding training for our new board members, including around OGEC rules, and we have executive staff to ensure our compliance. There is no reason why we couldn't have followed Oregon public meeting law here. The most critical aspect of this case is not that there was a violation that occurred, but that it was entirely avoidable. Throughout this process, there was multiple off-ramps that we could have taken and take the opportunity to do the right thing. The grievance I filed was not the first resort. It was a result of repeated internal concerns regarding communications, which I shared directly with the president before the August meetings. We had specific moments during our private sessions where the conversation shifted from receiving information to active deliberation. I and others communicated the line that was being crossed, and we had every opportunity to stop, to move the discussion to a public forum, come out to the public and apologize, or to seek guidance from the commission, from the Oregon Ethics Commission. Choosing to proceed despite these warnings was not a mistake of ignorance. It was a willful choice to bypass the public. Since I've raised these concerns, and this is very unfortunate, I've been subjected to a climate of bullying and intimidation, including direct requests from fellow board members to withdraw this very complaint and even resign my position as chair. Using intimidation to suppress a legitimate ethics concern is a direct attack on the integrity of the board. I strongly believe in this process that we are going through here and the process that you will decide on. The board needs to learn through this accountability, and the public deserves clarity of how our business is being conducted. The integrity of the board depends on the outcome of your decision. And if one of the largest institutions of our state can ignore transparency and then intimidate those who speak up, Oregon public meeting law becomes a suggestion rather than a duty to the public. I urge the commission to uphold the staff's recommendation. We need to go through this as a board. And we need to also send a clear message to the students, faculty, classified professionals, and our taxpayers that they deserve a board that operates in the light. We must do the right thing here and restore that integrity to the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Folnigy. Next, we'll hear from Mr. Mulholland. Is Mr. Mulholland present?
Yes, I'm here, just seeing if my camera is going to turn on in a moment here. I did not prepare statements, but I will just briefly give my high-level thoughts. First, I appreciate the Oregon Government Ethics Commission looking into this series of events. prior to these meetings, I also sent Board Chair Folnaghy my concerns that these individual meetings were designed to try and get around public meeting law. Based upon the events that occurred where there was some cuts to the low-income dental clinic that were very vaguely referred to as cuts to community services. Wasn't until after I followed up that I got clarity that that was what was being cut. The fact that that was then changed prior to the main meeting was sort of shocking to me because I thought we were only being presented information. The fact that that I threw up a red flag around that issue, that it ended up getting changed before the public meeting, I was actually quite surprised by. And so, I did attend the meetings. I was trusting that the process that was being implemented by the president against the strong recommendations from our chair and our vice chair to conduct the meetings in a different way. I trusted that process. Perhaps I should not have. And so I appreciate that you are looking into this. And I hope that we can move forward in a way that never again is there the perception that information is being kept from the public or that decisions are being made behind closed doors, which there's at least the appearance of. So thank you very much for looking into this. And I appreciate what you're doing and look forward to the investigation and reading its results and moving forward in a professional and manner that is above reproach. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mulholland. Is Mr. Rust online? Mr. Rust, can you hear me?
They're on the phone, so they'll need to hit *6 to unmute.
Mr. Rust, while you're trying to unmute yourself, we'll move on to Mr. Mittal. And hopefully you can unmute yourself and be next, Mr. Rust, but we'll move on to Mr. Mittal at this point. Go ahead, Mr. Mittal. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, hi there. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to respond. My name is Steve Mattel, and I'm one of the 7 trustees at Lane Community College. Like my fellow trustees, Zach Mulholland, I didn't prepare a statement. I just have a few comments to offer, some of which I think was covered in the proceedings just a few minutes ago. The main comment I wanted to offer and reiterate is that when I received the preliminary report about a week ago, I read through it, and there are some inaccuracies. The suggestion is that I attended one or both of those meetings on August 21st and 28th, and I simply did not. And not only did I not, I communicated that when requested or given the opportunity during the preliminary investigation. And, as your staff member reported, that, it may have been an oversight, but nonetheless, it's an important fact because that report suggests I was there in attendance and had something to do with it. I didn't give any additional, testimony or because I simply wasn't there to make any observations about what transpired. So I am still requesting that that preliminary report be updated, given the fact that I wasn't there, that I communicated that at the appropriate time, and I feel like it deserves correction. I wasn't expecting to hear Austin Folnaghy's additional sort of concerns about retaliation and asking to withdraw the complaint. But since those were made just now, I thought I would just briefly address those. I just sort of recall that quite differently. When we as a board were first informed that he had filed a complaint, there was some confusion. We sought to rectify. It appeared to, I believe, to all of us, certainly to me, that the complaint was filed against our president, right, who is not an elected member and therefore not subject to to the public meetings laws in the ways that the rest of us elected members are. That's how we understood, certainly how I understood the original complaint. I understand that it has been since, clarified, but the request to withdraw was based, my understanding, my recollection, based on that it seemed to have been erroneously filed. Once that was cleared up, there has been no further attempts to do that.
Okay, thank you so much for your statement. Mr. Rust, can you try to speak now? Are you unmuted? You can *6 to unmute yourself.
They have actually dropped from the meeting.
Okay. Okay, it does not appear that Mr. Rust is available. So now is the time for commissioners to ask questions to any of the respondents. Commissioner Halt, go ahead.
Hi, thank you, Chair. I have a question for Mr. Mittal. I am wondering how you did, when there was an email that came out that these meetings were going to happen, how did you respond to the email?
Well, quite honestly, I would request a little bit of time to go back and review the emails that I may or may not have written in response. But I was out of the country on August 21st. I would have to double check the date that I returned, but it was sometime between the 21st and the 28th. And my basic recollection is I simply said, I would like to attend because I thought would have the opportunity to get some information about the budget that was being presented, but that I just simply wasn't available, first because I was out of the state, and second because I had just returned and had lots of other things to do. So I believe, I would like the opportunity. I didn't expect to get questions like that, so I'd have to double check, but I believe it was just sort of scheduling matter, honestly, on my part, and could not attend.
Thank you. That was perfect. Thank you.
Any other commissioners have questions for any of our respondents? Do commissioners have thoughts, discussions about how we should proceed in this matter? I can say how I'm leaning, but I'll defer to others. Vice Chair.
Madam Chair, thank you. I still have a lot of questions from the report, from what we've heard today, and I think this is a case that would benefit greatly from a much larger investigation. I specifically want to flag the July 30th email from the president to the board, where the president states that one of the goals of the meeting is to engage in dialogue about the path ahead, because I think if that happened, and we don't know if that happened, that's what the investigation needs to uncover. But if that happened, it definitely crosses the line from information to discussion that would become part of a serial public meeting. So that's one of the many questions I still have. So I would support moving this forward to investigation so we can answer some of those questions.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I just want to echo the Vice Chair's comments and say that I do think this is a classic sort of case where I'm left with a lot more questions than answers, and I think it's an appropriate one to move to investigation.
We do have Respondent Rust available with their hand raised.
Okay. Mr. Rust, do you have something you would like to say? We are about to move this forward, but please be brief. You're still muted. Can you *6 and then mute yourself? There you go. Mr. Rust, do you have something you would like to say briefly?
I just, yes, Madam Chair and Commissioners and staff, in August of 25, I was a new board member, and I became aware of these meetings, and I sent an email to the president and to fellow board members that I did not like the way we were proceeding in serial fashion. And at that time, I cited a very famous case in Lane County that regarded 3 county commissioners, Fleenor, Handy and Sorensen, who were found guilty of a serial decision-making. And I raised that concern to the president and to the board. It's been 25 years since that, so I guess we need to have a refresher course. I also witnessed bullying of the chair following his submission of this complaint. I do think this warrants further investigation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rust. Commissioner Halt, do you have any comments? Your hand is raised.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Payne. I do think I agree with both of your comments and Vice Chair's comments. I would also really be curious on how individuals responded to the serial email. That is important to me. Did people not attend because they felt it was a serial meeting, or did they not attend because they were unable to? And so that's something that I would be looking for as to how I feel about each individual case. So that's something that I need resolution to. And so I'm inclined to move it towards further investigation. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, for that comment. Not seeing or hearing any other comments from commissioners, now is the time for us to make a decision on this matter. And we will do that individually on each of your cases. Vice Chair, are you ready to proceed on motions for each individual respondent?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Austin Fulnaghy may have violated ORS 192630 sub 1 and ORS 192630 sub 2, and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, you've heard the motion on item 24. Administrator, please call the roll. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner Mettler. Just 1 second.
Molly, we can't hear you.
I think we need to mute Commissioner Burke for a moment.
Administrator, can you please try to call the roll again?
How about now?
We can barely hear you, Molly.
Okay. Any better now?
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Mettler.
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez.
Aye.
Commissioner McCauley.
Aye.
Commissioner Halt.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Burke.
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay, item 26.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Zachary Mulholland may have violated ORS 192630 sub 1 and ORS 192630 sub 2, and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, you've heard the motion on item 26. Administrator, please call the roll. And commissioners, if you can just keep yourself on mute until you're called, that would really help. Thank you.
Very quickly, can I confirm, should Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez be abstaining? I Did call his
Yes.
name mistakenly last time.
Yes, he is abstaining. Thank you so much.
Perfect, thank you. For executive session, item number 26, Commissioner Health.
Aye.
Chair Resendez Gutierrez is abstaining. Commissioner Mettler.
Aye.
Commissioner Burke.
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Commissioner McCauley.
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0 with 1 abstention.
Okay, item 27, Vice Chair, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Jerry Rust may have violated ORS 192-630 sub 1 and ORS 192-630 sub 2, and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
Okay, Commissioners, you've heard the motion on agenda item 27. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Commissioner Mettler.
Aye.
Commissioner Burke.
Aye.
Commissioner McCauley.
Aye.
Commissioner Health.
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez is abstaining. Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0 with 1 abstention.
Moving to agenda item 28, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Steve Mattel may have violated ORS 192-630 sub 1 and ORS 192-630 sub 2, and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, you've heard the motion on agenda item 28. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner Burke.
Aye.
Commissioner Health.
Aye.
Commissioner McCauley.
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez is abstaining. Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Commissioner Mettler.
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0 with 1 abstention.
Okay, we are proceeding to agenda item 30, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Jesse Maldonado may have violated ORS 192-630 sub 1 and ORS 192-630 sub 2, and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, you've heard the motion on agenda item 30. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner McCauley.
Aye.
Commissioner Health.
Aye.
Commissioner Mettler.
Aye.
Commissioner Burke.
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez is abstaining. Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0 with 1 abstention.
So what has just happened, just to be clear again, is that we have moved your cases to investigation. No decision has been made today that any violations have occurred. I want to thank you all for your candor in your statements today. We appreciate you appearing, and staff will be in touch about next steps moving forward. Thank you again for being here today, and we'll be in touch. Thank you. We need to bring
Julie Weisman.
Julie Weissman back. Okay.
1 second, I'm admitting her. Should be good with Julie Weisman.
Weissman, thank you for reappearing. Now is the time for a decision on whether to move your case forward to investigation. Commissioners, is any comments or discussion on the type of motion that we should be making in this case? On Ms. Weissman's case? Vice Chair.
Madam Chair, I think we've heard a lot of information today that is contradictory, and I think this would benefit from a larger investigation to get everything sorted out and figure out who said what, when, and what happened in each of these meetings. So I would be in favor of moving this case to investigation to answer those questions.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I concur with the Vice Chair's comments. Any other commissioners would prefer to make a comment on Ms. Weissman's case before we make a motion? Seeing and hearing none, Vice Chair, are you prepared to make a motion on item 25?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I move the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Julie Weissman may have violated ORS 192630 sub 1 and ORS 192630 sub 2, and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, you've heard the motion on agenda item 25. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner Mettler,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez is abstaining, Commissioner McCauley,
Aye.
Commissioner Helt,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0 with 1 abstention.
Ms. Weissman, I just want to clarify about what that vote means. As the motion stated, the decision was whether violations may have occurred. There was no decision that any violations have occurred. We simply are moving your case to investigation to obtain further information. I just want to clarify that. Staff will be in touch about next steps, and we thank you for your appearance today.
Thank you.
Second.
Mr. Altucker, can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Hello. Thank you for reappearing. Now is the time for the commission to make a decision in your matter. And we've heard all statements from all respondents in this matter. And commissioners, do any commissioners wish to discuss Mr. Altucker's matter before we make a motion?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just would say that based on what we've heard today for Mr. Altucker's benefit, from what we've heard today, I think there's some questions that still need to be answered about what was discussed in some of these meetings and how that went. So among other things, I would favor moving this to investigation so we can get those questions answered one way or the other.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I would just like to say that I concur. I think this is the type of case where the commission would benefit from further information. So I'm also inclined to move this to investigation. Any other commissioners have comments or would like to discuss before we make a motion? Hearing none, Vice Chair, are you prepared to make a motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair.
Number 29.
Yeah.
Please, thank you.
I move the commission find there is a substantial objective basis for believing that Kevin Altucker may have violated ORS 192630 sub 1 and ORS 192630 sub 2, and that the commission should investigate accordingly.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, you've heard the motion on agenda item 29. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner Helt,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez is abstaining, Commissioner Mettler,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner McCauley,
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0 with 1 abstention.
Mr. Altecker, thank you so much for appearing today and giving your statement. What the commission has done today is move your case to investigation. There's been no decision that any violations have occurred at this point. We're just going to be gathering more information to make that determination at a later time. Staff will be contacting you about next steps. And again, thank you for appearing today.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Agenda item 31, I believe. And respondent is not appearing, so investigator Fenstermaker, please proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Commissioners, regarding agenda item number 31, the complaint involved allegations of violations of public meetings law due to a series of individual meetings with board members in August of 2025. The individual respondent in this case is a student member of the Board of Education. Based on our review of the Lane Community College's policies and procedures, it does not appear that Amelia Hampton, as the student member, would establish, she does not count, or that position does not count toward the establishment of a quorum. She's identified as an ex officio member, and there's also no indication that she participated in any of the meetings in question. So not that I think that that would matter, but I just thought I would add that for the record.
Thank you. Any questions for the investigator? Seeing and hearing none, Vice Chair, are you prepared to make a motion on agenda item 31?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. For executive session, agenda item 31, I move the commission dismiss the complaint against Amelia Hampton.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, you've heard the motion on agenda item 31. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner McCulley.
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez is abstaining. Commissioner Burke.
Aye.
Commissioner Mettler.
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Commissioner Helt.
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0 with 1 abstention.
Okay, let's take another brief break as we reconvene regular open session. Let's reconvene in another 10 minutes, 12:24. We don't have lunch or anything today, do we?
No.
Okay, but that'll give anybody an opportunity to grab food if they need to and take a bio break, and we'll come back at 12:22-ish. Okay.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Why did we do those cases so like differently? Because in the
So-
past we,
Okay, are we still, before we go into open session, I guess, because if you're gonna talk about something that just happened in executive session, then I want to make sure we're still in. Are we still in?
I have not stopped the executive session for you.
Okay.
yeah,
I
I
think-
wanted to get it before we got out of executive session because I just didn't understand, because in the past, we've had them all on the call at the same time, and this one we clearly separated out it in 3 different ways. And so I was curious as to why that was legally.
That would be something that we didn't notice a meeting for that type of question. So in the executive session, we can
Okay,
answer
we
that
can ask
question
it later
for you
then.
outside of the, yep, happy to answer it. Yep.
Okay, so I am now ending executive session, reconvening regular open session, and we will do that when we come back from it.
Yeah.
Okay.